Goodwill was my first stop for the day, and this was actually the only item that I ended up picking up, and the only reason I looked it up was because it still had the $45 invoice inside of the picture. So I'm not a clothing reseller. I only sell hard goods, but sometimes I will just kind of skim through the clothes or look down the aisles as I'm walking through the thrift store, especially on a day like today where I don't find anything other than one item. And this Looney Tunes shirt caught my eye, and when I looked at it, it wasn't vintage, so that was my cue to leave. So I only spent a little over $3 at this store. 10:13, I just walked out of Goodwill, and I have until about like 1 o'clock today until I can thrift. So I'm gonna go to the other stores that I usually don't go to in town. The next stop is gonna be a smaller thrift store. I'm not sure, I don't remember what it's called anymore. They recently changed their name, but I don't go there too often because I don't find too much. So I'm gonna go over there. I haven't been there in about 2 months maybe. So hopefully we get lucky today. I always look through these little bins for small electronics, and I really like this store even though I don't find too much here very often. But the reason why I like it is they test all of their items and they'll let you know on the tag if it works. And I've sold this before for a little bit over $60 in used condition. I'm just going to go ahead and pick this one up. It was $3.99. And then I recently sold this Black & Decker coffee pot as well. I sold it for like $38, I believe, but this one was in rougher condition and they wanted $10 for it, so I'm gonna leave it behind. Maybe it'll be half off next week. Small kitchen appliances is one of my favorite items to sell, so this is one of the first places I go to when I walk into a thrift store. And then up here I spot this little Black & Decker gizmo. It does need to be cleaned up a little bit. I'll use a toothbrush and try and clean up those blades, but these usually sell for around $25. So for $3.99, I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up and give it a little cleanup, and hopefully I can pull $25 from this item. And then this coffee pot was really nice. It was in great condition. I went ahead and looked it up. It has a slow sell-through rate. 2 have sold for $45. They wanted $12.99, so I left that behind as well, and I didn't see anything else in this area. Now this is empty, and new they sell for a little over $100, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up. It's only 99 cents, so even if I only get 20 for it, that's a really good return on my investment. Same thing for this one. This is Oscar de la Renta, and it's 99 cents. This one does have a couple little melt marks on it, but I figure if I get between 15 and 20 for this, it's still a great flip. So I'm going to go ahead and pick both of these up. They were both 99 cents. And then I found these Bratz dolls. I'm not too sure if $3.99 is too much to pay for them, but I went ahead and picked them up. I'm going to sell them as a lot, and I need to do a little bit more research. I'm not too sure what I'm going to price them at, but I figure they'll sell for more than $12. And then I picked up that little owl decoy thing for my dad, but this pillow last sold for $30, and then this one last sold for $24.99. And both of these were 99 cents. It takes a second for my camera to focus in, but I paid 99 cents for each one of these little throw pillows. And even if I have to hang on to them for a little while, I don't mind. It's only $2. So if I'm hanging on to them until next Christmas, whatever, but I'm going to go ahead and get those listed even though it's not the holiday season. So this is everything that I picked up. Well, that's probably the best haul that I have had at that store in a year, no lie. So I'm hoping my luck will continue, and I just pulled up to Salvation Army and it's really packed. Even that last store, by the time I left, there were no carts in the little cart area. So there are definitely a lot of people out thrifting today. But for the most part in my area, people who are thrifting are just buying stuff for themselves. There's not too many resellers. So my luck ended up running out for the day. This was the only thing that I found at Salvation Army, and these are some Marrow boots, and I paid $7.99 for these. And once I got inside, I remembered it's Monday, and on Monday, clothes and shoes that were the color last week are 99 cents, and then the new color this week was purple. That was half off. So I look really quick to see if I can find any yellow tag shoes, and I found these, but there's really no resale value in these, so I put them back. I ended up calling it a day. This was the last thrift store that I went to. I did a little bit of grocery shopping and then went home to list and ship. Okay, guys, so it's the same day. I just changed, and I have to run out of town with my husband to grab a couple things for his business, and we're gonna stop at Marshall's. when we get there and see if they have any clearance going on. When I first saw this bag, I assumed it was a lounge fly, so I took a picture with Google, and Google was even saying this was a lounge fly. But once I picked it up, I could tell the quality just wasn't there. It wasn't a very heavy bag. And then when I saw that the price was only $24.99, I knew this was not Loungefly. I looked it up. They were selling for $20, so I put that back. And then these Converse, they were on clearance for $40, but they had a small stain. And then down here, I found these Fry boots. And once I took a better look at these, I went ahead and left them behind. So they were on clearance for $98. But once I flip them over, you're going to see there's a little bit of wear, to where I could not say that these were new without box. They definitely look like they've been worn for at least a couple of days. So I put these back on the shelf, and that's when I noticed that a pair of boots are marked that they're made in Italy. So I go ahead and grab them, and I did look them up. There's 145 of them listed, and only 20 have sold. Now, the ones that have sold, they've sold for between $75 and $125. So these are definitely some valuable boots. But unfortunately, this suede looks really worn on these, and that's just a really low sell-through rate for me to pick these up. So I didn't buy any boots at the store, but I did pick up this men's Ralph Lauren shirt. Now, this is a size 4XLT. It was only $18, and the MSRP is $110. Now, I'm not a clothing reseller, and I don't like selling clothes, but items like this usually move really fast, so I did pick this one up. This was all the sourcing I did for the day. Like and follow for more.